Boys and girls, this is the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly.
Hello, Steve. Hello, Larson. It's me, Dexter Loomis, NXT Superstar. So here's my shout out to the Going In Raw podcast. Clever name.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
Yeah, welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here, youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Want to say thanks to everybody for hanging out with us today for our Stand and Deliver Takeover Night 2 live reactions over on the YouTube. We'll be doing the same thing tomorrow night for the SmackDown, and then we're going to be doing the same thing Saturday night for WrestleMania, and then we'll be doing the same thing Sunday night for WWE WrestleMania Night 2. So we got a packed week. It's WrestleMania week, and I am exhausted, mainly, though, because I watched Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole beat the living crap out of each other.
That match wore me out. I'm like sleepy.
It was fantastic. Do you want to very briefly talk UK Prelude first?
If you want to, I'm trying to get these notes out, the Larson notes out. So go ahead. You get started on that while I finish that up.
Well, first I want to give a shout out and thanks to the Enforcer as well for hanging out with us.
Enforcer's
during that.
The absolute best.
He'll be with us for SmackDown and Mania as well. So that's very exciting. So yeah, we had NXT UK Prelude. Walter hopped on a plane or went through Raw Gate.
It might have been the Concorde. They still use that, right?
I think they use do they use the Concorde? I have no idea.
No, they don't. They haven't for a long time.
Is that the fastest
transatlantic flights? Yeah, you used to be able to get across the Atlantic in 2 hours.
Do they still have like a faster? Really? They stopped doing that?
I think so.
Aren't things supposed to get easier and better in life?
Guess not.
Wow. Anyways, so yeah, he went through Raw Gate to take on Rampage Brown. Just a real. I mean, it wasn't nearly as sort of physical or as good as Ciampa Walter, but it was a damn good match.
It was a good match. I don't think the story was as strong as in the Ciampa match.
I actually kind of preferred the story because it meant we had more chops. Well, that's debatable.
Like the first chop he did to Rampage, Rampage ran right through.
Yeah, but you know what? We got a chop to the back.
We did.
Yeah. And he balanced on him to pin him, which is great. That's always awesome. It was a really fun match. It was a really good time. I actually just enjoyed watching a little slice of UK with you. I hope you do seriously consider watching it, doing it as like a watch along on Thursdays.
Yeah, that's not a terrible idea.
Because it's one of those things where, because we don't like have to sit there and take notes, we're not going to recap it necessarily. We'll do like a results thing the next day I guess that day. It's just UK is just a lot of fun to watch for reasons that I love wrestling for. The inadvertently funny, the intentionally funny, and the high drama. UK has all that stuff. There's also a tag match, Amelia McKenzie now, Mako Satomura versus Kaylee Ray and Isla Dawn. And that was a lot of fun. Obviously, of course, Walter retained his championship against Rampage Brown. And then Mako Satomura and Millie McKenzie beat Isla Dawn and Kaylee Ray.
Yeah, Millie rolled up Isla Dawn to get the win.
And then before that was, number one contendership, a really, really fun Heritage Cup number one contender match under Heritage Cup rules. Tyler Bate got the win over Noam Dar. I think it was, did it end up being 1-0? Or was it 2-0?
I think it was 2-1.
Was it 2-1? No, Dar did win. Okay.
Yep.
So anyways, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then of course tonight, like I said, was NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver Night 2. I mean, I thought last night had a lot of really, really good matches. Walter Ciampa was my match of the night, but even that, as much as I really loved that match, that didn't compare to what we saw with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. And that's not to take anything else away from any of the other matches, because I thought there was a lot of really, really good wrestling matches. And of course, obviously, we have a new NXT champion as well in Karrion Kross. He brought out his sort of WrestleMania entrance attire anyway, or his ring attire at this point.
Gear, yeah.
It was like Skyrim. Somebody described it as Skyrim level 2. So it was very sort of, he's got a couple whatever they use in Skyrim, doubloons, gold coins, whatever they use.
I don't know what the currency is. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Don't know. But I thought they went to the. Was it a technical marvel? No. I still think it was one of Kross's better matches. He hasn't had a ton. They went in there to tell a story. They told it effectively. They're really doing a decent job of making Karrion Kross vulnerable, which was not the case during his run before he got hurt, before he beat Keith Lee. And it's leading to better matches and more interesting stories. So I thought it was a huge step forward for Karrion Kross. I didn't see a whole lot of the bad footwork. I thought he looked smoother. I mean, yeah, it wasn't a 5-star match, but I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the story they were telling. Yeah. And I thought Finn did a hell of a job of making Kross look great.
They really, really they did a really fantastic job building up Finn Balor to the point where him handing over that title, him doing the job for Kross, really meant a lot. There was speculation, people in chat say, well, if Kross loses this, do you think he's going to go to main roster? Which is always a distinct possibility. Once Vince McMahon sees a dude that looks like that, with Scarlett along next to him, we were cracking jokes about that in the chat. That possibility definitely exists. Plus, it's like, man, Finn Balor is Mr. NXT. They're going to be on their own night starting Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you feature this guy as your centerpiece guy? I have to change one. Okay. Oh, on here, just the champs. Yeah, we got new champs. Yeah. Okay.
Oh! I thought you were doing this around your face. I thought.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was looking at the graphic.
Glare in the AEW title back there or something. Yeah, Finn, like he's had one of, if not the best run of his career, last year in NXT. He's been a darn good champ for the company, and if this is the direction they're heading with Kross, and he gets more matches under him, gets more comfortable, and get into a groove in terms of telling good stories in the ring. Because that's all I really ask for, is find good stories to tell with him in the ring. Yeah, sure. I'm not expecting, barn burner matches, 5-star affairs. I just want interesting stories.
If the matches, the thing is, everybody they bring into NXT, by and large, they're all capable of having stellar matches. So he doesn't need to be. He just has to be at a certain level, and since he's returned, he's been at that level. And whether it is them saying, hey, we're going to change up your style because what was happening before really wasn't working. And he has gone to, his whole theme building to this was, sort of back to basics. Well, he's fine. They're going to be on their own night. And I think they want a main roster type guy. Much like, and I think Drew's a better wrestler, but much like when Drew McIntyre came through NXT, like he's not your typical NXT guy. And granted, he wasn't there for a ton of time, but they put the title on him. Yeah. And so, they want their big main roster type guy, to show, hey, we're NXT. We're not just a bunch of smaller wrestlers, which I understand some people would look at and say, yeah, I get that right.
Too. And if like I said, I think so long as the stories are good and he's capable of telling good stories in the ring, that's going to more than make up for, whether he's a best bout machine or not. I think more interesting stories. One of the reasons why Okada Omega is so good, because they tell a good story in the match. It's not just about the moves,
NXT's creative
story in the ring.
NXT's creative, generally speaking, is really good. I think they're aiming to make this. Somebody earlier in chat asked if this Cole O'Reilly thing is going to be on level with Gargano Ciampa.
They want it to be.
They expect this to be. They want this to be. They're going to try to make this be up there with that. So you can expect a lot more of that, and it's going to get better. Even from what we saw tonight, unless Adam Cole shows up at Raw on Monday. I don't know.
Who knows?
But yeah, no, I thought those were some standout points there. Let's hop right into this. The kickoff show featured a tag team #1 contenders matchup between Drake Maverick, Killian Dane versus Breezango. Apparently, I did not watch this, but according to your note here, Dane powerbombed Drake Maverick onto Fandango. Fandango for the win.
Sorry. So Drake was in there. He's looking for a high five from Killian. Killian goes, no, power bombs him on the Fandango to get the win. Yeah, I just caught the very end of it.
Okay, yeah. One person in chat said, is Adam Cole maybe going to AEW? No, he is signed apparently through like 2024, I think, or something like that. Yeah,
he's got years left on his
Crazy
deal, so
long
he's
time.
not going anywhere. Takeover started with Jordan Devlin versus Santos Escobar ladder match. Fun match, very physical. We got a Spanish fly, standing one, another one off a ladder. Jordan Devlin hit a moonsault off the ladder. That was kind of the extent of the high flying stuff, though. You know, you got a couple cruiserweights in the match. You think, oh, they're gonna do all sorts of crazy stunts off the ladder. No, they were. It was more about just kind of beating the heck out of each other.
You know, both Devlin went on he had a match against, for example, Dave Mastiff in UK, which was really stellar stuff. Trent Seven came down in size to face him, so he wasn't like a natural cruiserweight. So Devlin has experience fighting in more physical bouts like that.
Was it OTT where he won? He had that match.
He beat Walter. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so he's and then Santos can do that stuff, but he's much more. I thought that his match against Kross was actually much more interesting because it was much more physical, and that's what we got out of these guys. It was much more akin to like Rock Triple H ladder match.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to make that point rather as opposed to even, they made a lot of parallels in this match between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, the double belts, even, obviously Shawn Michaels introducing the ladder into the whole thing in the first place.
Right.
Given the situation about two champions determining the one true cruiserweight champ. And then, it seemed like they had more in common with Triple H Rock as opposed to some of the other more famous ladder matches, which involve a lot of crazy stunts.
At the same time, that moonsault was beautiful. It was absolutely really. It was great.
It was. So down the finish. So Santos sets up Legado comes out and they push while Devlin's climbing the ladder. They push the ladder over. Devlin tumbles to the floor. Raul and Wild beat the heck out of him, throw him into the ring steps. And Santos smiles and just waves him off. It's like, I got this.
I got this from now. I'm good.
Go ahead and go. So Santos gets the ring, sets up a ladder. Devlin's already on his feet.
He already got up.
He's already up. He tosses the ladder into the ring at Santos. Sets up a ladder next to the one Santos was climbing. Hits the Spanish fly off it. So then he climbs up the ladder, starts batting at the belts. Santos makes it to his feet. He climbs up the opposite side. And early in the match, there's a ladder kind of set up in the corner, leaning against the corner. So they're brawling on top. Santos headbutts Devlin off the ladder. Devlin crashes through that ladder set up in the corner. And then Santos unvelcros the two belts above the ring. He is undisputed cruiserweight champion.
Yep. And then he goes up to the ramp, and I guess that was his son. I'm assuming there was a child there.
Yeah, there's a kid there, yeah.
Along with Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza. And he puts his mask onto the kid, gives him one of the titles.
One of the belts, yeah.
And it was a nice little moment. He plays a bad dude, but it's nice when they let the humanity show up on TV a little bit. I like that.
I know, they break character a bit, yeah.
Yeah. After that, we had new NXT Tag Champions MSK do a quick interview. They're asked about the new number one contenders, Killian Dane, Drake Maverick. They said, we're ready for them. They faced them once in the Dusty Cup, but hey, we're champs now. We're never losing these titles. And then they're asked to make their predictions for the main events for Cole O'Reilly and Kross Balor. And then they make different picks.
Can they coexist, Steve?
Can they coexist, Larson?
That's the story.
Can we coexist? Are we coexisting all right?
I think it benefits us to not be in the same room.
Oh, wow. Man, you're coming with fire today, talking about Grizzly Man and now all this.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You said he got us. Oh, that was good. I got to get the intern to cap that one. That was great. Wow. That was great.
After that, we had a women's tag title bout. Indy Hartwell, Candice LeRae, The Way versus Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. As soon as The Way made their way to the ring, you knew they were losing. It was like the drabbest ring gear. Candice's body language was this.
What was this? What was that? Like that, they looked like they didn't even want to be there.
I know.
I mean, they have such charisma when they're doing their skits and their interviews and in most matches. But, you know, they were dressed down in all gray. And I know John was in like a Iron Man Mark 1 outfit. That's what I'm assuming it is, because he had the circle heart thing, not War Machine.
Yeah.
But like, so maybe he was just like, hey, we might have a skit later. Let's all theme up.
Yeah.
But they look so drab. And they came out with like zero energy.
The body language, you can just tell. Yeah, I don't know.
And then on on the flip side of that, Shotzi and Ember, man, holy
like $1 million.
They look like
on
movie
the tank,
stars.
And then Ember had like a mask that would, like
it's like a lizard mask.
Yeah, it was insane.
It was great. It was really great. Yeah,
This is great.
This is a lot of fun. I love Shotzi Blackheart as a wrestler. She's a lot of fun. Sometimes she does these moves and it's like, how do you not hurt yourself more? And this, I don't think was on her. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a wrestler. But like typically when somebody does a suicide dive, especially if there's two people, you've got two people there to sort of break your fall. That's what they're there for. There seemed to be some miscommunication or whatever, but she went right through them and like sort of twisted herself so that she didn't go head first into the barricade. That was a scary moment. But I mean, that's just really Shotzi. Shotzi does that stuff, and it's just like, wow, how do you make it out of that, you know?
Yeah, no. I know. So after that, thankfully, she was all right. Early on in the match, Candice and Indy actually got a lot of offense and they were isolating Shotzi. And then later on, there's a pretty protracted stretch where they were isolating Ember. Eventually, though, Shotzi and Ember hit like what you call it, like a tilt whirl cutter type combo that gets with 2 count. Candice hits a super kick on Shotzi, knocks Ember off the apron. Indy is back in. Her and Candice hit like a flapjack combo type move. Ember breaks up that pin. And then Shotzi hits Indy with an enziguri. She tags in Ember. Ember goes to the top rope. Shotzi tags herself back in. Ember hits Candice with an eclipse. Shotzi then follows with the senton off the top on Indy to get the win. And retain the tag titles.
Let me ask you something. Hold on. I want to check this out really quick. Make sure I wasn't imagining this. That wouldn't make any sense. Candice tweeted out yesterday, real human tweet. I want to take a moment to acknowledge how special it is that there are 4 women who have busted their asses and earned their spotlights this WrestleMania week. Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Raquel Gonzalez, and Indy Hartwell. Kill it this weekend, ladies. There's no chance she caught shit for something like that, right?
No,
breaking character a little bit. I mean, she didn't reference her opponents or anything.
Yeah. So I mean, Rhea is onto the main roster. Raquel, talking strictly kayfabe, is a heel like her.
Right. Yeah.
And Indy is her tag team partner.
They seem so bummed out.
Bianca's on main roster, so I don't see the problem.
They seem so bummed out when they came out.
They did,
isn't it? I mean, they're professionals. You think, oh, hey, we're not winning the.
I mean, I don't think that was their body language because they were losing. I think it was some direction in terms of their.
You think that might be a story
dynamic
thing? That might be.
Yes,
that might be. Usually they're more obvious.
Came off.
But NXT is. Remember how they introduced Indy Hartwell in the most subtle way, and it was awesome during that that battle royal when she like saved Candice, and you go back and look at the footage after they introduced that idea, and it's there. It was really great. This was cool. Gable Steveson was sitting ringside next to Stephanie McMahon. Yeah.
So he's I don't know if he's done with college or not. He was wrestling for University of Minnesota. He's expressed interest in getting into the professional wrestling. So yeah, it could be that we could see him in NXT at some point very soon.
Jorge says, I honestly think her attitude was just in kayfabe. She was supposed to be the wicked stepmother. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I don't think tweets would get them in any trouble or anything. It's just
no, nothing like that. At least
weird stuff.
I think it was a situation where we're going into matches looking for lose face, win face. That's one of the things we do if wrestlers have any tells in terms of whether they're winning or losing.
Yeah, man.
I don't think their body language had anything to do with winning or losing. I think it was just about their dynamic and the story they were trying to tell with them.
You know what we should do? We should invite Drama King Matt after he did that YouTube video. Ask him, because he already debunked, he claims that the looking at the ref thing. So there's a video on Drama King Matt's YouTube channel where he watches like some video about like 10 signs that you've never noticed in wrestling or something like that. 10
Yeah.
And he sort of debunks it all. Be fun to bring him on at some point for something, where we do that.
Yeah.
Like a Matt Chat special edition or something.
That'd be fun. That would be fun. Next, North American title bout: Bronson Reed versus Johnny Gargano. As you mentioned, Gargano had the Iron Man Mark I inspired gear. Early on, Bronson Reed is overpowering Gargano. There's this great bit where Gargano goes for his slingshot spear, just bounce right off Bronson Reed. It was great.
Yeah, I don't know why Johnny spent the first half of this match trying to like outstrength and power down and like, using his own power to overcome. That ain't gonna work.
That ain't gonna work. Eventually, he does get him off his feet, a bunch of shots, and this was a fun match. Austin Theory, it took him a while to get involved. He did though. He distracted Bronson Reed a couple times. Put Gargano's foot on the rope during a pin once. The finish, this saw Gargano go for one final beat. Reed catches him, essentially hits his version of Deadeye, Hangman Page's old finish.
I love that he's put that into his repertoire. I love that. It looks great. It looks like he's basically sitting on somebody's head.
I know.
Because they always film it from like the angle where you don't really see what happens to the dude's head.
Bronson goes for a power bomb. Gargano reverses that into a Rana, hits super kicks. Reed responds with one of his own. Goes up top for a moonsault. So he's kind of going outside the box. Now we see him do splashes for a finish all the time, but I don't think we've seen him do a moonsault before. John hits him with one final beat, not once but twice, to get the W.
Didn't even try to pin him on the first one. And I love that about Reed. They did the same thing with Swerve. How
the house call that took three of them.
You got to keep on. You don't even try to pin him. You got to keep on.
Yep.
So I like the idea that Johnny Gargano was maybe scouting that and being like, man, I got to keep at it. There's a mosquito in here.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I know. I hate those things. But no, this was a really fun match. And I kind of get it, man. It seems like maybe they want to protect Loomis a little bit. And that's why they didn't have him go into this match, because Gargano was going to win. He's got a thing with LA Knight now, probably. And maybe down the line, if they're like, okay, we feel like Loomis can be a good enough, a decent North American champion, maybe or maybe they just don't see him as a title guy. He doesn't need to be a title guy.
Oh, Loomis, no. No, I don't think he does. I think he's a good facilitator for stories.
Yeah, for sure.
Just based on his character.
He's a good presence,
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe at some point that will get him to the point where it's like, oh man, the fans want it so much that they get him a title shot, and it just seems,
It could be. And maybe at some point down the line, if Bronson Reed gets another shot at this title, they'll reference the bit where him going for that moonsault, which is not something he normally does,
Oh, wow. Maggie here in chat says, like Indy, I'm team protect Loomis. Maggie's going to change her Twitter handle to Maggie Loomis.
Next, the NXT title bout, Karrion Kross versus Finn Balor. Early on, these two guys were both kind of laughing off each other's offense. And then Finn was going to town at first, working over Kross's arm, then later after a liver kick, which he's got a powerful liver kick. We've seen that against Kyle O'Reilly. He kicks Kross right in the gut and goes after the midsection quite a bit. Kross will try to get some offense in. It seemed like Finn always had an answer, though. Because early on, after he laughs in Kross's face after getting beeled across the ring, he slaps him. And the story going to this, of course, was Finn saying, "I've harnessed and managed to control my emotion. It makes me a better wrestler." Kross, when you get emotional, it's a fault. It's a vulnerability.
Yeah.
And so this match was pretty much Finn trying to crack Kross to get him uncontrollably emotional, and therefore thinking that's his road to victory. In the end, it actually turned out to be the opposite.
Yeah, Kross is a bad man when he gets emotional.
Yep. So down the line here, Finn hits the shotgun drop kick, then another to Kross's back, hits the coup de grace, that gets him a 2. Kross kicks out right into a Kross jacket.
Oof, yeah.
Finn rolls through that, double stomp, kicks Kross in the gut again, follows with some knees to the gut, locks on kind of like what Riddle used to use for the Bro Mission. Kross powers out, takes Finn's back, just drops a ton of forearms on his back. Hits a German suplex, a Saito suplex, and then 2 forearms to the back to get the win.
The Saito suplex was devastating. And that last shot you had mentioned, for people who've been around for a while, you've heard us talk about WCW NWO World Tour. How they had something called the base hit. And that was when, if you ever played the game, you know that there are certain characters who, if they, like Hogan is the perfect example, if you give your opponent a clothesline using them, or maybe sometimes an elbow, a bionic elbow, they'll like collapse.
It's a TKO.
It's a sudden, very sudden, violent TKO. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what Finn looked like tonight.
And it made the noise, boof. So that's what we called it a base hit, because it was really deep and guttural.
Yeah.
But when you got it from behind, the person would kind of throw their hands up and arch their back out, and then bend at the knees and fall forward.
Right.
And that's totally what Finn did.
Exactly what it did. I'm going to get a give of that.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, like I said, they went out there and I'm told the story they wanted to tell effectively.
Yeah.
Kross was vulnerable.
Yeah.
Finn had answers for basically everything that Kross threw at him up until a point, up until seemingly when Finn, used arguably a move from Kross's own arsenal, kind of like a rear naked choke type deal. And once Kross got out of that, game over.
Yeah. Yep. After that, we had a brief Santos Escobar interview. He puts over Devlin, says he kept coming at him. Mackenzie says, with Legato's help, Santos says, or she says, yeah, with Legato's help. And he says, well, you know what? We're familia, we're family, and I'm still champ, emperor of Lucha Libre. So, yeah, good stuff. Devlin's going after, trying to think how UK is going to play out. If Tyler Bates already lost once for that Heritage Cup, it wouldn't shock me at all if they put it back on him. Or I'm sorry, if he actually wins it, because he's making that his thing, and then Devlin challenges him for that. Ooh,
yeah,
wow,
that could be good.
Yeah,
that could be good. And then we got our main event.
Oh boy,
excuse me, Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole. Both of them got new music. Both pretty huge step downs from the Undisputed Era theme.
Well, let's give it time.
Exactly. I didn't really care for the Undisputed Era theme the first time I heard it. So
yeah, and
I've got first listen, step down.
I've got you guys in my ear. And I took out one of these just to listen to it. It didn't stand out. Adam Cole he did the boom, but there's no
cue for it.
Somebody said that there was like a cue 5 seconds earlier.
There was. It kind of drops out.
It drops out, yeah.
Well, so it kind of drops out, and he's pointing, and he's kind of smirking. I'm like, oh, is he not going to do the boom?
I thought he wasn't going to do the boom.
But then he did the boom.
He did the boom.
He did this, and he kind of smirked, because it seemed like there was a point where it drops down, then it picks back up, and that'd be the boom spot. But he waited and then did the boom.
He's like, listen, I do the boom when I want to do it.
Yes, I'm heel again. Firmly heel.
He's just going to do the boom at all different points of the song, so nobody can figure out when to do it.
Take one step to the curtain. Boom.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's like, whoa, no. Damn it. Yeah.
He's walking down the ring mid step. Adam Cole, baby,
Right.
Doesn't you set up for it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. Anyway,
you should start doing like you did in that match in New Japan where
my favorite match.
Kenny.
I gotta watch that again because that was the most entertaining. It was so obnoxious, just how many Adam Cole baby, and you could tell on Kenny's face he's just regretting anybody brought this guy into Bullet Club.
It was so good.
It went to his head immediately.
It was so good.
It was really good. So, geez, dude, I don't even know. I mean,
I took a lot of notes for it.
I know,
as you can see, it's about a page and a half.
I mean,
there's a lot going on. So Adam Cole was working over Kyle's neck. At one point, he
took a tumble out of the ring and he hit his head really hard against.
Yeah, he's selling neck there. Then Adam Cole just goes right after. He got a chair with the Undisputed Era logo on it. Starts beating down Kyle with it, hitting a bunch of neck breakers, working Kyle's neck. Kyle O'Reilly turns tables with the knee to the gut. Hits belly to back onto a chair. So we had chairs. We had a chain at one point. Kyle wrapped a chain around his shin to start doing some Kawada kicks.
And that came in. The chain and the chairs came into play for the finish.
Yeah.
So we had that.
At one point, Cole tied a piece of chain to the top rope, and later on he used it as Kyle was running towards him. He stepped aside and yanked the chain, making it taut. Kyle ran right into it again, going after the injured neck.
They went up to the announce table at one point. There was a brain buster.
That brain buster. Yeah, that
table didn't break. Yeah.
So let's mention this. This is worth mentioning. So at one point, Kyle has Adam Cole in a position where he can do the brain buster on the ring steps, like Cole did to him when he first injured his neck, and he has him in position. Doesn't do it. He can't bring himself to do it at first.
He hesitates. Yeah.
And he kind of steps aside. And he's like, "All right, I got to do it now." And when he finally steals himself, Cole by that point has come to, rams him into the barricade.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, Cole hits another brain buster on the ring steps. Yeah. That was after that O'Reilly hit the one on the announce table.
Yeah.
That table didn't break.
Yeah. I like that. I mean, there's just so much story going on in this match, and there is a lot of there was a tire iron in this too.
Yeah, Cole got a toolbox out from under the ring and dumped it all out and got a wrench out and tried to hit O'Reilly with it. Tire iron as well. Cole used the tire iron to break up a heel hook towards the finish.
They did one of those things where they both sit in chairs opposite each other. They're just talking trash and just trading blows there. So one of the bigger moments that sort of came out of nowhere was, I'm looking through your notes here.
When they go through the stage?
Yeah, hit us with that.
So at one point, Cole wraps a chair around Kyle O'Reilly's neck. I think this is when it happened. Yes. And the ref is like, hey, don't do that. And Cole's like, it's an unsanctioned match, man. Clocks him, knocks him out, tells him to shut up. Mm-hmm. And then Cole sets up for Panama Sunrise, hits it, goes to the pin, but he knocked out the ref. Mm-hmm. And so he goes to the ref, and he's like really pie-facing this guy. Oh, yeah. Hard,
he's
pushing
like,
him.
wake up, don't ever. Mainly, he's not telling him to wake up. He's like berating him. Yeah. He doesn't realize the ref is completely out.
Yeah. So while he's doing that, Kyle O'Reilly rolls out to the ramp. Cole falls with the chair, chucks it at Kyle O'Reilly's head. O'Reilly falls off the stage, and they ram each other into the barricade a couple times. Cole tosses O'Reilly back onto the stage, and when Cole picks him up, O'Reilly locks on a guillotine. Mm-hmm. And so they're at this point in the stage where it's kind of like some shinier wood, I would guess, like not laminated, but polished wood type thing. And the next step is metal. Mm-hmm. And so Cole kind of takes a leap forward and dumps himself and O'Reilly through one of these plates of metal, and they go through it.
It was hidden very well. Yeah,
it was. And this next bit I loved. So Cole is the first out. And rather than pulling O'Reilly out from that hole they made, he jumps down and goes next to the stage and starts kicking a hole in the drywall and yanks him out of there.
It was great. It was awesome.
That was pretty great. Was pretty great. So he pulls O'Reilly out, dumps him on the stage. O'Reilly crawls back to the ring. Cole follows him. And as Cole gets in the ring, O'Reilly rolls to the floor. At this point, the ref has come to. This is when Cole hits the brain buster on the ring steps, gets O'Reilly back on the ring, covers, and O'Reilly did the kick out where he just barely lifted his shoulder off the mat.
Yeah.
So Cole sets up for a last shot. When he does that, O'Reilly collapses. He goes for it again. This time, O'Reilly ducks it, puts a heel hook on Cole. Cole tries to kick his way free, but he can't. Cole instead grabs a handful of chain, then punches Kyle O'Reilly to break that up. He goes for a Panama Sunrise. O'Reilly catches it, hits the Ushi-Guroshi. Penalty kick, follows with the last shot of his own. Cole kicks out. Mm-hmm. So then O'Reilly wraps a big hunk of chain around the turnbuckle, wraps a chair around Cole's knee. He goes to the top rope. Instead, Cole gets up, clobbers him with the chair. O'Reilly falls off. Cole then places the chair upside down, so the headrest or the backrest is down,
so
and
the
front of the seat is down.
Up, yeah.
So the legs are sticking up. Yes. And then he puts Kyle O'Reilly in the second turnbuckle, goes to the apron, starts to climb up. O'Reilly low blows him.
Because Cole earlier in the match had low blowed him. Yeah.
So then O'Reilly wraps some chain around his leg. Meanwhile, Cole has fallen, so he's leaning over that chair that's upside down. And then O'Reilly hits a knee off the second rope, follows that with a pin to get the win. Trainers come out, put Cole on a backboard to put him on a stretcher.
O'Reilly really milked that moment too. Like he walks up and he sort of looks back at Cole and he starts to celebrate a little bit, but then he sort of puts his hand down because it's like, I love it because you can, the shot.
Like you won, but at what cost,
Exactly. Yeah. Like he was almost like self-conscious about celebrating because he's like, dude, like this is a guy that I consider my brother, and look at what we had to go through. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really stellar. No post copyright bug action.
No interference in this match at all. No interference in the Bronson Reed Gargano match, which is other than Theory kind of interfering a little bit, but no.
Yeah, he was dicking around a little bit, but there wasn't a whole lot of that going on. Yeah. I love when Takeover keeps it that way, man.
Raging Texas here in chat with a bunch of bits. Thank you very much.
Oh wow, thank you very much.
Just a ton.
Oh wow,
thank you.
Oh wow, that's nice. Hugo Long Heavy says apparently we're in the Twitch chat now. Apparently this was the first ladder match for a cruiserweight title in WWE, WCW, and NXT. That's cool.
Dublin Lover, I think the videos and Finn's entrance make it seem like goodbye. If Finn goes to Maine, I hope he'll still be at TakeOver Dublin. Yes, we didn't mention that, but during Finn's entrance, all the Trons showed images of Finn throughout his career. I didn't notice if it was all NXT or if it was a mixture of NXT and main roster.
That I didn't notice. There was one shot of him as the Demon.
Yeah, there was a huge one right over the ring.
There was like the big one of the Demon. There might have been other shots of him like mid-match as Demon, but yeah, dude, I don't know if that was a main roster, if that was a goodbye. He's been in NXT now for a little while. Mm-hmm. I feel so. People are saying it was a mixture.
Okay.
I feel like I could see it either way because it was such a great way to say, "Hey, this guy is at another level, and this is what you have to beat now. This is what Kross has to beat because obviously Kross is out there first." And so it made it feel like a real special event. You know, it made it feel big. And I could see, I mean, you know, the last thing you want is for Balor to get, well, I guess the last thing you want is for Balor to go back to Maine as the smiling Finn Balor.
Yeah.
But, you know, you don't want Balor to end up in Ciampa territory. So whatever they do, hopefully they find something good for him to work with that has some intrigue to it.
Exactly.
That's the one thing that lacks when it comes to guys like Ciampa who have done a lot. If they don't pivot them, there's no intrigue there, and you need, that's what maintains relevancy is like, I want to know what's going on with this guy, you know?
Yeah, they've not been able to crack that with Ciampa, really.
They have not.
Like,
no.
Gargano managed to completely reinvent himself.
Because he was he was so specifically a thing. And Ciampa, he was the best bad guy. He was the most vicious bad guy.
When he was a bad guy, that was a very specific thing. But then after that, they couldn't. Whether it was creative or him or whatever, couldn't find the next thing.
He can't. The thing is, Johnny Gargano. I'll put it this way: I never expected Johnny Gargano to have awesome, you know, somewhat comedic, obviously, killer wrestler bad guy in him. I didn't see that. And now it's brilliant. Ciampa can't venture into where Gargano was on the flip side of that. I don't know what character, because he's already been badass tweener. He can't be like just straight up rah-rah babyface. That doesn't make any sense. That'd be weird.
No.
So I don't know. I mean, essentially right now, you know who he is? He's Randy Orton.
Yeah.
But like with Randy Orton, they managed to give him some good stories, and that's what they need to do with Ciampa. But you have to have some stuff that really keeps people interested in the story and the actual plot of it. You know, it can't just be like, oh, I'm here, like he's been lately. Oh, I'm here to make sure those whippersnappers in the locker room are
to set the attitudes in the locker room.
I hate that.
You know, right?
I hate that stuff. Yeah,
I know. It makes him sound like the times have passing him by. You know.
Yeah.
When he's only 35.
When he's only 35.
The Ultimate Coder, what's next for Escobar? Is there someone who could potentially dethrone him? And then Delaney Demand has roughly the same question. And he mentions Mansoor. So I guess he's like undefeated? Or he's won like 45 matches in a row or something like that?
Wow.
On 205?
That's cool. They should be looking at people of the caliber of Kushida. I mentioned this before, and I think they have a great opportunity with Santos there, with Kushida there, to establish the Cruiserweight division as being on par with New Japan's junior division. It's still incredibly early, and you have a lot of work to do, tons of work to do.
Yes.
But I think that's a great goal to try to go after, because you can have 5-star matches every time out, you know? And guys like, I mean, okay, so I've not watched 205. Maybe you can have a mix of guys who are usually on 205, like Kurt Stallion, Mansoor, but also bring in guys from Japan, guys from Mexico, and then some of the NXT guys who you know can put on phenomenal matches for a killer junior division, you know?
Yeah, just about investing time in it on both NXT and 205 Live.
Yep.
White Brownie, should EO stay in NXT and form a tag team with new recruit Saray, or to go after the tag titles, or should she roll the dice and go up to Maine?
again, it's the kind of thing where once you've had the title, it's usually really difficult for them to. That's one formula that NXT needs to start figuring out is after if people are going to stick around, you need to figure out
do
something.
After the first title cycle. I know that's always been a tough nut for them to crack, and that's why I mentioned Gargano, because that's like the one person who's managed to crack it.
Yeah,
to reinvent themselves and keep themselves vital and interesting.
Yeah.
Jorge D, after agreeing to be LA Knight's lackeys yesterday with your new gimmicks, how will you guys debut in NXT, and what will be your first match? We'll be in a tag match against Killian Dane and Drake Maverick.
That's good. What is our video vignette?
I feel like it's a Zoom call. It starts with a Zoom call.
Okay, good.
Like this.
Like this.
And then something happens, explosion.
An explosion?
Something.
Wow.
And the Zoom call's gone.
Wow.
And then we step into frame next to each other.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We're back. Shit Twins are back.
The Shit Twins are back.
Portland Dusk. Chicago Noon.
Bang. That's going to be on the Blood and Guts poster that I'm going to do.
Good.
Portland Dusk versus Chicago Noon.
Good.
Great names.
Just drenched in blood. That's what I want.
Yeah, exactly. And there's going to be guts in there too, because it's blood and guts. You can't leave out the guts.
Who's having their guts ripped out then?
Not us. Not us.
Oh.
I mean, it is a me versus you thing, but I feel like there should be, maybe Daniel Bryan will be the third guy.
Oh.
It'll be his guts.
All right. Night by night, again, your brief indecision stalls you, and the door closes nanoseconds before you can escape, slicing off the tips of your shoes as it does. Left with chilly toes and no other options, you pick up the book. It seems to contain information on various alien species.
He just made us. Hold on a second. This is. It's not becoming a choose your own adventure now. It's a night by night's own adventure.
I know he's dictating the adventure at this point. You flip through and find entries and labeled friendos, enforcers, and yokels, not knowing how long you'll have to read before Space Enforcer returns. What sections do you attempt to read first?
Enforcers, because he seemed to be the man in charge, so we need to crack that key.
Yeah. Agreed. The Spider Dan, is Takeover Dublin still on in June, and do you think it'll be Walter versus Finn?
Walter versus Finn needs to wait for fans, and I don't know when they're going to be able to get fans in the UK, but that needs to wait for fans. That's a big match.
That is a huge match.
Would you? Hey, what would you prefer? Finn stay in NXT or Finn jump to UK?
I mean, there's a lot of potential really good matches for Finn in UK.
Was he the guy that took on Ilya, or was that Cesaro?
Both. They both
did? Okay.
Ilya, I believe, yeah. Oof. Done with Pete Dunne. Anyone else get annoyed by the constant 2.9 kickouts? For example, O'Reilly eats a super kick, kicks out at 2.9, then he eats a chain to the head and a brainbuster on steps and still kicks out at 2.9. No,
because I'm not going to complain about AEW using weapons and people kicking out of it and then do the same for NXT. I don't really complain about AEW. I don't complain about AEW doing it. It's just something that they sort of do.
Yeah. Big Easy, surprise, we didn't get Roddy attacking Kyle post-trademark. Gives Kyle O'Reilly a good feud before the second Cole match, and Roddy needs something now. Well, we saw Roddy walk out last time we saw him, so I think he's taking a break.
Mm-hmm. This is interesting. Brendan Triola here in chat says, from the conference call, Johnny Gargano produces matches sometimes for the younger talent on NXT. So is Candice and Tommaso Ciampa. Damian Priest, Walter, Pete Dunne, and others are others. And Triple H says Finn Balor has an interest in producing too.
Wow.
That is cool. Interesting. Okay,
that's
listen,
cool.
here, this is what you're going to do. You're going to chop. Okay, what else? You chop his front and then you chop his back too.
And then powerbomb and lay on top of him.
And then you balance on top of them.
Yeah. Dang and
make that a gift. Just him.
Yeah, balancing. Mm-hmm. Loop it so his feet never hit
It looks
the
like
ground.
he's always balancing it.
Yeah, exactly. Dingham Q, Gable Stevenson can't sign with WWE until at least August because he's training for the Summer Olympics, assuming it still happens.
Yeah, I saw that in chat as well, yeah.
Mayor Pete, 2 masked figures kidnapped both Wild and Mendoza. Does this imply there is a 4th member of Legado?
I always thought it was like, so 2 men kidnapped Wild. That would be Santos and Raul. And then Raul and then Joaquin and Santos kidnapped Raul. Hold on a second. I never understood that. Why would they put up the front that they're all kidnapping each other if there wasn't another guy? I never understood what that ruse was supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't know either. Unless there is a mystery fourth.
But still, who is that supposed to... Yeah, I guess so, huh?
Yeah. Great idea from Hugh Longheavy. Please make Portland dusk and Chicago noon shirts. Maybe I'll see if I get this done. I have a lot to do, but I'll see if I can get this done. You know, remember the old Denver Nuggets jerseys with the Denver skyline? I'll see if I can find the Portland skyline and then get some nice dusk colors there.
You know, it'd be
Portland
rad.
Dusk.
Did you see the exclusive Sting shirt that's like timed exclusive? Okay.
Yeah, it's great.
You know that style? That'd be rad if we could figure, because I don't know how to produce that style. I'd like to learn and figure out how to get that look and exactly how to apply it to like a t-shirt. I want to do that. Make it like an 80s or early 90s version of that with like the sort of scrawled font from that, but with neon colors.
Yeah.
There you
great.
go. I like
Great.
it. Portland dusk,
Great.
Chicago noon. All right. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Twitch chat, stick around. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow for SmackDown. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.